Namaste. Today's JyotiSakti Vedic Astrology insight is about communication and influence, the power of your voice, your words, and how you move people. Have you noticed some people speak and everyone just feels it? Not because of their fancy words, but because there's truth behind them. That's Mercury, the planet of speech and communication and intellect. Mercury decides whether your words bring peace or chaos, whether they build connection or break trust. But Mercury alone doesn't tell you the whole story. You also have to look at your third house, the house of communication and courage, and see which planet are influencing it. When Mercury is strong, especially in the third house or the 10th house, you're born with a voice that can inspire, teach, or lead. Your words carry power. But when Mercury is challenged, maybe by Saturn, Mars, or Rahu, you might talk too much or say things that hurt or get misunderstood even when your heart is in the right place. That's when you learn that communication isn't just speaking. It's about awareness, timing, and energy. Let me give you some proof for context. Take Barack Obama, for example. In his Vedic chart, Mercury sits in Cancer, in the 7th house. Cancer brings emotion and empathy, and the 7th house is about relationships. So his words naturally connect. He doesn't just speak, he relates. That's why his communication builds bridges instead of walls. Now, on the other hand, take Donald Trump. In his chart, Mercury sits in Gemini in the 11th house, a placement that gives incredible reach, quick thinking, and mass influence. But it's also tightly connected to Rahu in his chart, and Rahu exaggerates everything it touches. So his words become powerful, magnetic, but often impulsive and unfiltered. That's the shadow side of Mercury, when expression moves faster than reflection. Some people use Mercury to connect hearts. Others use it to command crowds. Both are forms of communication, but one heals and the other divides. Now look at Swami Vivekananda, Mercury in Capricorn in the 2nd house, along with Venus. The 2nd house rules speech and voice. Capricorn gives discipline and structure, and Venus adds beauty. In his famous speech in Chicago, when he said, "Brothers and sisters of America," it didn't sound like a speech. It sounded like grace flowing through his words. That's the difference between speaking from the mind and speaking through the soul. Your communication power comes from your Vak Shakti, the divine energy that flows through the throat chakra. And when it's blocked, you hesitate, you overthink, or you can't find the right words. But when it opens, your words become light, they uplift, they heal, and they create harmony. Mercury gives you the skill to speak, but Jupiter gives you the wisdom to use that skill with compassion. When Mercury and Jupiter work together, your words become medicine. They don't just convince, they transform. That's what you hear in the voices of great communicators. Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Osho, Paramahamsa Yogananda, and even Steve Jobs. Their words didn't just pass through the air. They carried energy. That's called Vakshakti. If you've been walking around with this deep desire to speak better, to be understood, to find your voice again, that's not an accident. That longing means your Mercury wants to evolve. Your throat chakra is waking up. Don't worry about being perfect. Speak with sincerity. Say one kind truth each day. Pause before reacting. Let your words become a tool for connection, not defense. You'll notice that people will start to feel you, not just hear you. If you're curious where your Mercury sits in your chart, or if Jupiter is blessing your speech, you can book a personal Vedic chart reading at JyotiSakti.com. We'll look at your third house, your Mercury, and how you can awaken your Vakshakti. So your words not only express who you are, but who you are becoming. Because when your words align with your truth, you don't just talk. You touch souls. That's your real power. That's Mercury's blessing. Namaste.